All right, let's look at our next one here. It's just
Hmm.
something that I came across, some cool Chinese tech. This is the
Yeah.
Nio ET7 electric vehicle
Yeah.
that has been recently
Uh-huh.
announced, and it looks like it's going to be a competitor for the Tesla Model S. And China actually has a
Hmm.
bunch of different competitors in this area, both in terms of electric vehicles and vehicles that have self-driving capabilities to some extent. And
Hmm.
I wonder how cool they're going to be when this is done or when other similar ones like it are done. One of the interesting things about this one is they say it's going to have 620 miles on a single charge, which is,
Hmm.
I think that's about 50% longer than a Tesla Model S.
I remember Tesla is around 500 kilometer or to 700 kilometer. So if they are aiming to have 600 miles, that's probably 800 to 900 kilometers.
Yeah, so how much more
That's
is
just
it
a
than a
rough calculation.
Tesla Model S?
I
50% more?
think probably 200 to 300 kilometers.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's like 1,000 kilometers, 620 miles. Actually, that sounds better for
Mhm.
marketing purposes. 1,000 has four digits. It's cooler than 620, right?
Then actually they should use like kilometers rather than miles
Yeah. Well,
because
I'm
if you
sure.
use
Yeah, I'm sure
kilometers.
they will in China. It's just that this is a American website that I'm looking at right now,
Mhm.
topspeed.com. And they show some of what this car is going to look like and what it's going to be like inside. I feel like it feels Tesla-ish to me
Mhm.
because I don't own a Tesla. I've been in a couple Teslas, and it has that kind of what would you say, a minimalist design on the inside with a large display panel that you would use.
I think that's something you used to say in a lot of cars right now. They have big screens, not only Tesla, maybe even in Benz, BMW, you saw those big screens.
Yeah,
I think these, I think every car manufacturer is featuring such a tool to, get entertaining in the car for, the Shanghai Drive or others,
yeah.
because the driver probably only driving, but whoever is sitting near to the driver, they probably listen to music or watch the map or whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, I wonder how much it's going to rely on the digital display because in a Tesla you have to use it for pretty much everything. Like even like controlling the wipers and stuff is done via the digital
Mhm.
display, which is kind of difficult when driving actually. This looks like it
Uh,
might be similar, but we'll see. And when I looked at Neo's marketing materials, they were referring to this as a living room. Do you know what I mean?
Actually, from my point of view, when I saw the news, I was thinking back to like 5 years ago when we talk about cars, either for electrical vehicles or the fuel vehicles. We always think about the cars in Western countries, or maybe Toyota, like BMW, Ford, or others. We never think about Chinese cars. Have we? We don't. But
Okay,
now
okay.
I
Who
think
who never thinks about Chinese cars? Chinese people?
I think Chinese people
Really?
probably when they really buy a car, expensive car, luxury
Mm-hmm.
cars,
Right.
they're thinking about like the we have a word called BBA. That's stand for BMW, Benz, and Audi. So
Mm.
that's mostly famous car in the China. So whenever people is
Yeah.
trying to buy a car, they will buy that three brand rather than others. And then maybe they will think about other cars, but not Chinese cars. The only
Sure.
people who buy Chinese cars, maybe they have a low budget, or they probably the Chinese official government, so they have to buy certain brand. They have the requirements. But now I think I know a lot of my friends they are buying Chinese cars. I know they buy the Chinese electrical vehicles. I know they starting to buying from I think the Chinese brand Chang'an and others.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a sign. Like people are starting to realize that Chinese made is good, is great compared to others.
Right. So over a few years, we'll probably see something that's similar to what we saw with smartphones earlier. Whereas, like at first, Chinese manufacturers of smartphones they couldn't really be compared to an Apple. Or if somebody wanted a
Yeah.
premium brand, they would buy Apple or Samsung, and they wouldn't really consider the Chinese brands. But then they just got better, and it seemed like they got better quite fast.
Mhm.
And then Chinese consumers also liked the Chinese products too.
Yes. I think another point is Chinese government is also trying to promote electrical vehicles. I think we mentioned this point
Right.
in our newsletter earlier. So
Yeah.
I think even government is actually supporting all those Chinese manufacturing. So with all the subsidies and tax free for the consumers,
Right.
I
So
think it's a
this
sign that.
this one's going to be about priced at about 448,000 Chinese yuan. That's about 70,000 US dollars. But that's before
Yeah.
considering any subsidies. So once the
Yeah,
subsidies are in, it's going to look even better than that.
yes, I think with subsidies, probably they could get like 5 to 10% discount. I'm
Hmm.
not really sure about the digit, but they will definitely have subsidies for all the electrical vehicles.
Right.
And one thing is in China, it's really hard to get a car plate. Unlike Western countries, you can just go to the RTA, or the Road Traffic
Yeah.
Administrations, to get a plate. But in China, you have to wait because there's a lot of people driving. But with electrical vehicles, you can get a plate very easily.
Hmm. Okay. Cool. Cool.
That's why a lot of people now considering to buy electrical vehicles rather than fuel vehicles.
Yeah. Okay. And then it looks like this car is going to have great autonomous driving capability. But who knows? I mean, that's what they say. Based on the technology that they're talking about, it looks good. They're going to have 33 sensing units,
Mhm.
LiDAR, 11 8 megapixel high resolution cameras. I think that's what it means here.
Mhm.
Not 11.8 megapixel high resolution cameras, because that doesn't make sense. And it's going to be generating a lot of data. And one of the ways that they measure how much data it's going to be able to use, measure its computing power is through the total operations per second, which in this case
Mhm.
would be what what is it? 1,000 trillion operations per second. I think that's what it is. Which is
Yes, actually, I think from our point of view, we're really confused with all those digits, like the fancy features you have. From a normal user, what do you care the most? The
right.
drivable feeling. You don't
Yeah.
really care about like, okay, how many miles you can really run because you're not gonna run like 600 miles in one go.
Yeah.
You don't really care about like the light. You care about the feeling of the car.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the numbers that they're putting out now in terms of self-driving and in terms of performance, in terms of how its range and everything, they all look good, but then we'll have to see what they actually end up being and how it actually works. Because really, that's just a number, like trillion operations per second. It's just a number, and we'll see what,
Okay.
we'll,
I
we'll
have
have to
one
see how
question
it,
for
it
you.
works.
If you have option, will you buy Tesla or you're gonna buy Nio? If you have option.
Well, this car is not out yet. It's just planned.
No, I
But
mean if you have option, if this car is out right now,
if this car
and
was
it's
out,
your choice to make. Yeah,
well,
it's
I don't
just an
think
option.
I might buy a Tesla in the future.
Ha.
I haven't really considered this a whole lot, but the Tesla quality is not that good right now. And I'm a very minimalist person. If we have one car in the
Mhm,
house for my wife and I,
mhm,
and we once in a while we need two
mhm,
cars, but it's pretty rare actually. So we just keep the one
mhm.
car, and I ride my bike everywhere. I ride my bike. Sometimes I even ride my bike in the winter, and it gets down to minus 30 degrees here, and I like that. It keeps me fit, and
Okay.
I feel like I'm defeating nature. Whereas basically what I'm saying is, I guess the fancy stuff doesn't really impress me. When it comes time for us to buy a new car, we'll compare Tesla and we'll compare some other
Mhm,
options. And we'll
mhm.
maybe by that time we'd compare a Chinese vehicle like this too. I don't know. You?
Yes, I think the Chinese brand should do more with Tate, and probably Tate will buy the car. For me, okay, I will buy Nio. I think this car is so cool rather than Tesla because
Yeah.
I saw a few news recently about how Tesla system going faulty and cause a car accident. So
Uh
maybe I'm not thinking Tesla.
huh. All right. Let's move on to the next part.